Matt Walsh asked the question of, if we were to take away all the weapons, we would still have homicidal maniacs. What causes the problem of homicidal maniacs? Well, that is caused by a deeper problem, which is people. See, homicide by definition is a person, hominin, hominid, icide, which is the death or killing, right? There are many different, pesticide, herbicide, deicide, filicide, patricide, right? Homicide. But the hom part causes the homicidal urges, right? If it wasn't for people who are permanently damaged, traumatized, or ruined by society or whatever other various means through which people, the actions, the words, the beliefs of people lead to the instabilities. It's not like a magical switch in an alternate reality is flicked and a person just decides to snap. It doesn't work like that. People get pushed too far, or they operate on entirely false premises for far too long, to the point that they are unable to operate outside the confines of that way of thinking, even if it's 100% backward and false. This is the definition of derangement is that. People being shitty cause other people to eventually, through various means, arrive at an inescapable conclusion and then take action. That's really all there is to it. The people that are the problem typically end up being the targets of the problem of homicidal people. But at no point in any of this pearl clutching that's going on right now, fake, somber, whatever, at no point ever is the possibility that people that suck end up becoming the victims of people that others call a problem. The real problem is people in both cases. So to solve this problem, what? You kill a homicidal person? That's homicide. I thought the problem was homicide. Oh, well, no, it's not the act, it's the thought. It's why a person would do that. Well, God damn it, why would a person do that? Why would they feel the need? Well, you're trying to justify. No, not necessarily. Lots of unjust ones happen too because people get deranged. But in the handling of it, there's so much callousness, lack of empathy, self-righteousness, hypocrisy, judgment from people who claim to follow a belief system whose foundational stuff is like, judge not lest ye be judged yourself. The whole point of that religion is the salvation based on the sacrifice of the Son of God for forgiving the sins of others. But to advocate that belief system while simultaneously, persistently recommitting sins with the mentality of, but I'm forgiven, it's fine. There's no possible way that anyone could see something like that and say, wait, they want to tell me what's right and wrong? Now, it doesn't help that we've got this whole demoralization thing going on in our society, in our culture. But the problem is people. Me personally, I don't care about this incident. I really don't. I am unable, due to the circumstances of my own life, to summon one iota of empathy, of sympathy, of anything. Because for the last 4 years, now bear in mind the pandemic's only 3 years old. Do the math. For the last 4 years at least, I've been financially destitute, unhireable, unable to find gainful employment beyond utmost subsistence, paying the bills at the expense of things like food. And very little sympathy. It wasn't until I threatened a shooting spree 2 years ago that anybody who called themselves my friends even offered, hey, are you in trouble? Do you need help? Even though I've been asking for it. And in between all of this, a bunch of other people that I thought were my friends, that obviously were not, they're just a bunch of drones, gaslighting me for being right. Which, by the way, I have been awake since 2003. I don't mean I haven't slept since 2003. I mean I woke the fuck up 20 years ago this spring with the Iraq War rollout, watching tanks roll in night vision on cameras. And I said, why the fuck are there cameras on these tanks? Why are they showing us this? This is wrong. And it was like, awake. Now it's time to start figuring out what the fuck is real and what isn't. What I found out is basically nothing is real. Nothing. Because the people are all fake too. So all these fake self-righteous, full of judgment, playing victim, it's narcissistic injury, what they're doing. Oh my God, they could have took the high road. They could have stuck by their principles, but they didn't. And instead, everyone is passing judgment on someone. I don't fucking care. You either believe what you believe or you don't. But guess what? If you're a total hypocrite, don't be surprised when somebody calls you out. And if they get to the point where it's like, you're saying that I am a problem that should be eradicated. Maybe I should eradicate you instead. And they're saying, we're a problem, Ryan. You see how this is an issue? Everyone's doing the same thing. Nobody's actually making efforts to change that. People are the problem. All people. Because you try and raise a new generation to be better, they turn out to be dog shit. They turn out to be complete nincompoops that fall for everything the government says. Because the people who had kids made more people, who became drones, who enabled the system to take over, get sucked into these mind control narratives. Rage bait. Get behind this movement. You're not socially acceptable if you don't follow the current thing and support it. But then, the people that make fun of the people's the problem, remember. The people that mock the people who get behind the current thing have their own current thing that they get behind mindlessly. Clutch your damn pearls, folks. Oh, it's just the worst thing ever. I can't believe it. No, the worst thing ever is the fear of losing your fucking home because you can't pay for it. It's not even a mortgage thing. It's a tiny amount that I should be able to get per month to throw into the county's coffers to pay my property tax. But I can't even rally that. And if I ask for help, I get shrugs. I get people that would prefer to just avoid me rather than offer help. Or even, I'm not even talking about handouts. I'm talking about fair shake shit. Hey, can we make sure that I'm not getting fucked? Well. We're going to have conversations about, historical stuff where, you get somebody chuckling about the slaughter of pagans. Consequently, I'm now going to chuckle about the slaughter of Christians. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Because people are the problem. How do you solve a problem that causes itself? People cause more people. And no matter what you do, those people turn out shitty. Stop making more people. That's a good start. Be conscientious about the circumstances in which you raise someone. That you don't put someone into the world that's going to resent the pile of shit that they inherit. Like I do. I resent this. Oh, it's a gift. It's a miracle. Uh-huh. And it's being squandered by everyone around me while I burn alive and simultaneously drown in slow motion. Why should I care about that event or any other event, I still maintain from 2-3 videos ago, I have suffered mightily. I have suffered for a long time. And during that time, people who claim to be all about the non-judgment, about the charity, even folks that claim to be all about the science, from any given direction, doubt me, refuse to acknowledge the truth. And then, when others, also cowards, go along with the bullshit, which inevitably led to everyone's suffering, that will get worse. It'll be terrible. It'll be bad. I got no sympathy out of anyone because they're like, well, it's a pandemic. Everybody else is suffering too. Yeah, but I've been suffering since before that. And I've still been trying to get ahead, and I still have people hijacking my blessings, subverting the ordination of the will of God, that I collect my blessings, which are ordained for me. They are my blessings. Subversion of the will of God is evil, by the way. Doesn't matter what your beliefs are. When the natural order of things presents a certain way, it's obvious. And, nope, that should be mine instead. Cool, man. You're using deception. You're stealing. Ill-gotten gains? Anybody? That's how it's been for 4 years. Denied opportunities. Prevented, subverted, hijacked opportunities. And the opportunities that I was able to secure, the ensuing blessings that were meant to be collected, hijacked, subverted. By evil people. And then when I complain about it and nobody does anything about it, you have the banality of evil, when people who might otherwise be good simply do nothing. And it continues. So, hypothetically, were I to decide one day to just be a maniac and do a thing, it's not like there wouldn't be justification for it. Oh, no. Maybe we need to rethink whether or not a blind, all homicide bad, protect life at all costs, death, scary mentality is not healthy. Maybe we should reconsider. I mean, we have death penalties, right? People talk about abortion. Ooh, the babies. I would never, ever in my life force a woman who's been raped to carry the child of the rapist. Because fully half of your behavior and the way that your brain works is in your DNA. So you force someone to blend their DNA with the DNA of a monster in the name of protecting the miracle of life, forcing abominations into the world. Makes sense to me. God, I can't imagine why he would say people are the problem. Can't imagine why people would be the problem. And then there's, I gotta be honest, I thought that David Pakman hot take about not praying enough was fucking hilarious. Because yes, they say that! They say that! Somebody else, it happens to them, they're like, oh, well that's because you're not. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. But now it's everybody's turn to suffer too. Like I said, all shall suffer as I have suffered. This has not changed. This has not changed. Our economy is going to collapse. It's going to be funny. I would like to be able to make it to that point. The problem is the stress of living in this destitution while being gaslit for being right, while being ignored by people who claim to be compassionate. And I got to be honest, I had somebody that I was expressing to that the main thing that stops me from doing anything in an extreme way at this time is the fact that my cats have already been devastated by being abandoned by the rest of the family, by the hardship of the whole lockdown era. They were happy with me being home, but things were very different and they could tell. And then, as I got back out and doing my thing, my own hardship, my own inability, there were times that I got angry. I didn't hit them. I didn't throw them. It's nothing like that. It's not abuse, but they could tell Dad was mad. And then, of course, the times when, I can feed myself or I can feed them. I can cover the necessities for the household, or I can pay the bills. Oh, let's not forget, amongst all of the people that are part of the problem, is the folks that attempt to offer false hope. They're really the worst, because at your deepest and darkest, they make you think maybe there's a little bit of light, maybe a little sunshine, maybe a silver lining. And then they never follow through on anything. All they cared about was that your immediate emotional reaction shifts to not being so negative. Just distract, just as if that makes a difference. It doesn't change anything. The problem remains. I was explaining that I can't trust anyone to properly take care of my cats. They are socialized together. They are bonded to each other. They are a family unit, and they have their own specific uniquenesses. So a person who is caring for these animals needs to understand the different personalities and everything. Now, the person I was talking to obviously wasn't listening, because they then offered to help me rehome my cats. After I said the reason I haven't gone off the deep end yet is because I am afraid for the well-being of my cats in my absence. That they would be further devastated by losing the only constant throughout their literal entire lives, which is me for the last, 6 or 7 years. I'm the constant part. That's why they love me so much. And of course, because I feed them. Said, well, if you ever need help with, and my brain says, oh, is she going to offer me help with, I don't know how I can accept that, but she goes, with rehoming your cats? Like, I'm sorry, excuse me, did you just offer to make it easier for me to do a horrible thing? No, I'm sorry. Number one, you're not listening. I need someone who will listen, who will understand the thing with the cats, right? This is probably somebody who prefers to euthanize cats. But regardless, obviously not paying attention, or for whatever reason felt the need to try and push me farther. Because people are the problem. People are the problem. So how do you solve a problem that causes itself? Stop making people? Okay, cool. Can't convince everyone of that. Start taking people out? Well, that's the problem, right? So they say. Start taking out the people that want to take the people out. But now you're doing what you didn't want them to do, which isn't right. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's thinking about this. Maybe we should just let them do what they do. Maybe there's higher level reasons for things like population control, thinning the herd, whatever. Darwin Awards and all that. Because right now, our gene pool is too thin. Our society is stupid. And the people within that society are the problem. So that's the real conundrum, is how do you solve that problem, the problem of people? If you really care about suffering, if you really care about making things better, then you have to improve your own behavior. And not just, I'm going along with my own morals. No. You also have to treat people with respect and kindness, even if you disagree. Because otherwise, it's just everybody against everybody, Mad Max style. And I don't think anybody really wants that. I think a lot of folks say that they do, but I don't think they really do. Like with me, as soon as the coworker says, well, here, can I help you, rehome your cats so it'll be easier for you to go on a spree, basically. Not in so many words, but that's the logistical effect of offering that particular assistance in my life. My response was, I'm sorry, I don't think you understand what I'm talking about. My desire is to live. My desire is to live my life, to try and enjoy it. There are things I would love to still do. But I cannot, if I am financially destitute, persistently, as I have been for years, to the point that I eventually lose my home. Now, granted, I understand. Nobody cares about homeless people. Otherwise, maybe somebody be doing something about it. And I'm not talking about giving them houses. I'm talking about addressing the issues. Half of them are only there because of financial destitution that was preventable. Not necessarily their fault, although sometimes. But I'm talking about things like a pandemic, which has drastically increased the homeless population. Oh, we need to help with mental illness. Here's the problem, too, with that. A lot of mental illness can, quite honestly, be remedied as far as symptomatic behavior goes by medication. But there's something very fundamentally wrong with simply medicating yourself away from concern over the legitimate problems. If your depression is situational, you don't need an antidepressant. You need your situation to be remedied. And if it's not your own doing, then you come into a situation where people are the problem. Not the individual having the issue, but the people around them. And this happens everywhere, all over the place. Very, very seldom do the people who cause these type of problems, who are actually truly responsible, the people who are the problem, seldom, if ever, do they ever face consequences. They simply continue polluting the world with negativity, hatred, and misery. So, I mean, I got my head out of my ass 20 years ago. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know what anybody else's excuse is, because I don't think there are any excuses for it. And especially now, it's so obvious. It's been getting more obvious. And it's at the point now where you pretty much... I can't even come up with a satisfactory analogy to how ridiculous it is that there are people who do not recognize the truth. Maybe they do recognize it and they're just in complete disbelief. You've got that denial being the first stage of the grieving process. And I've spoken before long ago about grieving your dreams. Well, come on, man, look at it. Who's got dreams and aspirations that they think they're going to accomplish at this time when the cost of food keeps going up, the cost of everything else keeps going up, but the wages are not going up, the incomes are not going up, productivity is not going up. And it was all preventable if people had not been so stupid and afraid, because people are the problem. I wasn't specifically raised to be smart or brave, so I really don't know what the difference is between my ability to see what's going on and be like, man, that's a bad deal. And other people to be like, well, we better just get in line. Are you that scared? Do you not understand that there are so many more of us all than of them? Why am I here in Iowa beholden to things that people in Washington, D.C. are talking about who've never even been here, trying to make rules that apply here? And even if I disregard them as the idiots that I know that they are, the crooks, the evil people, I've got to deal with people around me in my own environment, the rest of my local society. Just going along with it, because they're either dumb or afraid. Unwilling either way to face the truth, accept the truth, understand that they had the power to prevent everything, and they didn't. And now, they don't get to complain, but guess what? People like me do. People are the problem, I'm telling you. Everyone needs to correct themselves. And if they can't correct themselves, maybe they gotta go. But, I mean, I'm watching all these, oh my God, this terrible thing happened. It's the worst ever. No, it's not. No, it's not. I really don't care. I honestly don't care. That honest reaction thing is the first thing that pops into my mind every time I scroll through and I see any reference to it, because they keep showing pictures of the shooter, and that's all I got is that riff starts off. It is what it is, man. I am a product of my experiences. I have the intellect to understand what is going on, the articulation to convey what is going on, but I do not have the mind control ability to force people to accept the truth. And so, as a consequence, my own frustration and anger at being unable to render any benefit to the people despite having the means leads me to intrusive thoughts to vent the frustration. Things like a break stuff joke. It's a coping mechanism, but it's not coping over the tragedy that occurred. It's coping over the travesty that allowed it to occur. That's all I got. But what I don't have is one single iota of empathy anymore. I've run out.